Yeah, hear me now, right? Can you hear me? Okay, ready? You can. Okay, good. I had to recharge my AirPods. I'm not sure if they work. They were just everyone nod. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, that's all I need. Okay, so everyone else will come. Graphing linear functions. So it's sort of kind of a review of what I did. So I sort of put it in the last section we did, but I just want to do one problem to show you how to graph with intercepts just one more time, because that's what this section is really about, graphing with intercepts. So if I have the equation, graphing with intercepts means I need to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. When you're looking for an x-intercept, the opposite is 0, y is 0. When you're looking for a y-intercept, the opposite is 0, the x is 0. So we're going to take this equation and we're going to do two things. So we're going to put 0 in for y, find x. Then we're going to go back and do it again, except we're going to put 0 in for x. So I'll do it this way. X-intercept. So I'm going to take and put y is 0. 2x minus 4 times 0, y is 0, is equal to 8. That goes away. 2x is equal to 8. X is 4. So I know my x-intercept is 4, 0. And then I need to find my y-intercept, which means x is 0. So I go back to the equation and I'm going to put 0 in for x. So 2 times 0 is 0. Negative 4y is equal to 8. Divide by negative 4. Y is equal to negative 2. So I have my two intercepts. And like I said, this is a review from what we did before. So anybody who's getting back a little late, we did this already, or just reviewing it real quick. So I have 4, 0. I have 0, negative 2. And then I can put together and I can do a sketch of my graph. So this section, mostly I tied to what we did before, because I sort of felt it went better with what I did before than now, sort of separate now, but that's 3-3. The only thing we have to add is graphing vertical and horizontal lines, but that's in 3-4. So I'm going to leave that as 3-3, and I'll do the vertical and horizontal lines in 3-4. Good? Everybody good? Awesome. Okay. 1, 2, 3 is gone. Okay, so I'm going to add a page. Now we're on 3-4. That's all I had to do for 3-3. It's just a review, basically. All right, 3-4. The slope of a line. So this section is all about slopes of lines. We talked about this also a little tiny bit last time. The slope intercept form of equation. Slope intercept form of equation of a linear equation where m is the slope which is what we're concentrating on now. B is the y-intercept. So we're going to talk about all different kinds of slopes: positive, negative, zero, undefined, et cetera, et cetera. We talked about that a little bit too last time. So a lot of this stuff I put in last time too. So we should be good finishing it. Now, there is a formula for slope. If you, I'm sure all of you can remember it once you say it, whether you've used it or used it in the past. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So this is how I find the slope from 2 points. So I'm going to be given a 1 point, which we're going to call X1, Y1. And we're going to have another point, which we're going to call X2, Y2. And then we use the equation and we can find the slope. Now, another thing about slope that you hear a lot is rise over run, which means it goes up first and then it turns left or right. So when I do slope, I go up first. And I think we did this last time too. Just briefly though, if it is positive slope, you'd run to the right. And if it's negative slope, you run to the left. Now, unit 2, the beginning of unit 2 is not on this test. Graphing with slope intercept, but graphing a line with the y-intercept and the slope is not in this test. It's the next test. So in this test, if you're given a line on your test, they want you to use points to draw the line. So this first part is all about making a table and doing points. Then we're going to, second part, we're actually going to use the slope intercept one. But today, really, we're not really graphing too much, except vertical and horizontal lines. We're really talking about slope. All right, so first thing we need to do is to practice this formula to find some slopes. So we are going to find the slope given 2 points. All right, 1. If I have the point -6, -3, and the point 4, 5. I want to find a slope between those 2 points. If you are someone who hasn't done this in a while and or just totally forgot, I want you to think this way. -6, -3 is my first point. So that's my X1 and that's my Y1. 4, 5 is my second point. That's my X2 and that's my Y2. That's what the 1 and 2 means. The 1 means my first X, my first Y, my second X, my second Y. So then we're going to use the equation. So M is equal to Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. And then we're going to plug in our Y's and X's. Y2 is 5 minus, always put the minus sign. Then look at Y1. Y1 is -3. So that minus had to be there first. 5 minus, and then put down the -3 over X2, 4 minus X1, look at X1, -6. And then we know that minus and negative is a positive. So honestly, I really have 5 plus 3 because minus and negative is a positive. And the denominator, I also have positive, minus and negative is a positive, 4 plus 6. So my slope's going to be 5 plus 3 is 8 over 10. But I can simplify that by dividing both of them by 2. So this slope of this line is going to be 4 over 5. So the slope of this line is going to be 4 over 5. The most important thing, and where I see most mistakes, is that they forget that you forget to put a minus sign, and then you put 5 minus 3, and that's not right. It's 5 minus negative 3.
Yeah, I did that first, and I was like, oh snap.
Yeah, it's the biggest error. I know. So I always say, put the minus and then look at what it is, so you don't mistake and do it all the same time. Okay, so let's try this one. 4, 9, negative 1, 2. So again, if you're sort of new, you haven't done this in a while, those of you out of high school not that long ago probably remember this like nothing, but label them. This is my first X, this is my first Y, this is my second X, and this is my second Y. And then again, if you haven't done this in a while, I highly suggest that you always write the formula down until you know it. M equals Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. And now we can start doing our formula. So Y2 is 2 minus, now I'm going to look at Y1 is 9 over X2 is negative 1 minus, and now I look at X1, which is 4. And then I can simplify. 2 minus 9 is negative 7. And negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. But we can simplify that because a negative divided by negative is a positive. And you always want to leave your slope as a fraction. Don't make it like an improper fraction. I mean, sorry, it is improper. Leave it as an improper fraction. Don't make it a mixed number. You want it to be a fraction because you want to know your rise and you want to know your run. And a fraction is what you want. Okay, 3. So I'm going to write again. M equals Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. I think the second biggest mistake I see on these, and just because you lose your concentration, you're just doing math and you're just going away, is that remember the Y's are on top and the X is on the bottom. Okay, so let me label them. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Okay, negative 8 minus Y1 is 6 over X2 is 5 minus X1 is 5. So I get negative 8 minus 6 is negative 14. 5 minus 5 is, 0. Okay. We can't divide by 0. So I actually have an undefined slope. Now, I'm going to go a little bit ahead of what we usually have to do right now, because I want to show you something. I want you to tie this all together now. Undefined slope. Okay, so that means it's not a function. That means it doesn't pass a vertical line test. And that means it has to be a vertical line. How do I know that? Look at the X. Aren't both the X's 5? And remember, X can't repeat, not a function. So if I was going to graph this, it would be at 5, it would be a vertical line. And that's why it's undefined slope. It's not a function. Not a function. When you divide by 0, not a function, it's going to be a vertical line. How do I know it's at 5? Because every X is going to be at 5. Every X is going to be 5. So it had to be here at 5. And the equation would be X equals 5. Because every single X is going to be 5. So You can't divide by 0. It's undefined. Why is it undefined? Now that we know more, it's undefined because it's not a function. It doesn't pass the vertical line test. How? Because 5 repeats, not a function, or x repeats. But that also means that it's a vertical line. It doesn't pass a vertical line test. It's the only line that doesn't pass a vertical line test, and it's going to be at x equals 5. Look at all those little things we just did and put it all together in one problem. Four. Okay, find the slope of this one. -2, 3. I'm actually want you guys to try it. 14, -5. Okay, I'll give you like a minute. I want you to try to see if you can find the slope.
I have a question about the last one.
Yep.
Just real quick. So if any problem like this, if it's not a function, is it automatically going to be undefined then? So anytime our
A line.
x's are the same number, we automatically know it's undefined.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. With a line. I can't say that about other things, but lines 100%.
Okay.
It's a very good question. Okay, I'm writing the answer down. See if you guys got it. I'm not going to show the work yet. You guys get it? Yeah, good, good. Okay, I'm going to show you the work. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So x1, y1. And by the way, if you don't have to do that, that's fine. If you've done this for a while and you know which one's what, you don't have to put the notation down like I just did. Okay, so -5 minus y1 is 3 over 14 minus, now I look at -2. So I get -8 over, now minus and negatives is plus, that'd be 16. I guess I forgot my negative, right? -1/2 equals -1/2. We do it. We get it. All right, the only other one, I mean, there's so many different slopes. The only other one that I need to look at with you is one like this. Okay, this is a special one too, but it means something else than what we just saw before. So we're going to do is say m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to have y2 is 4 minus y1 is 4 over x2 is 7 minus x1 is -1. Sorry, -2. So, so 4 minus 4 is 0, and 7 minus -2 is going to be 9. So this time my slope is 0. We can have a slope of 0. Remember what a slope of 0 looks like? It's a horizontal line.
Wouldn't you add that? 7 minus -2?
Yeah, 7, like 7 plus 2, 9, right? It becomes 7 plus 2. But those two minuses become a positive plus.
It's totally okay. We're all here to learn.
Say it one more time. I didn't hear it all the way.
I said, I told Michaela it's totally okay because we're all here to learn.
Absolutely. 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 Okay, so absolutely. Even you'd be surprised. You think I'm teaching, you're also teaching me things all the time. I learn so much from my students every year, every year. Okay, if you look, aren't both y's 4? But y can repeat. It's a function. It's saying the slope is 0. That's just a flat line. It's a horizontal line. But where is it? It's at y equals 4. All the y's are 4. So at 4, I just have a horizontal line. That's it. That's what it looks like. We're not really graphing it yet, but that's what it looks like. So the only two special cases really are the undefined vertical line case, which is not a function, and the 0 slope, which is a function. It's just a horizontal line. Okay. All right, I'm adding a page, and then we're going to add on what we got. Okay, so we just talked about the formula y equals mx plus b. It tells us two things: slope and the y-intercept. So if I give you an equation like y equals 2/3 x minus 7, I know I can tell you two things. I can tell you that the slope is equal to 2/3, and I can tell you that my b, my y-intercept, is equal to, now make sure you take the sign in the front, -7. So whenever we have an equation in y equals mx plus b form, I can 100%, and you can too, tell me what the slope is and the y-intercept is. But not all equations come in y equals mx plus b. So this is sort of kind of a review too, how you do equation like this. So find the slope and y-intercept of the line -3x plus 2y is equal to 11. Now, I don't know what it is. I won't know what it is till I get it into y equals mx plus b form. Whoops. That just means I have to do one thing: solve for y. I got to get y by itself. So I'm going to take this equation and we're going to start working on it, and we're going to get y all by itself. Okay, so first thing I can do, I want to get y, so I'm going to add 3x. I'm going to move 3x to the other side. 2y is equal to, now I'm going to keep it in y equals mx plus b form, so I'm going to put the x first and the number second. You don't have to. There's nothing wrong with going 11 plus 3x. Absolutely nothing wrong. Then I could divide every single thing by 2, no matter which way you did it. And what do I get? I get y is equal to 3/2 x plus 11/2. Now I got it in the form I need. Y equals mx plus b. So I know my slope, which is m, is 3/2. The slope is always with the x. They're always together. Slope and x are always together. And then my y-intercept, which is my b, is 11/2. So whenever you have an equation that's not in slope-intercept form, and you are asked to find the slope in the y-intercept, you just have to solve it for y, and then you can answer that question. One I want you to be careful of is if you get an equation like this, negative y equals 4x minus 11. It looks like it's a slope intercept form, but is it? No, that's because this negative can't be there. It has to be y by itself. So how do you remove the negative? You're going to divide every single thing by -1. That's really what I have in front of that y. And then you can put it in y equals mx plus b form. So y equals 4 divided by -1 is -4x. And a negative divided by negative is a positive 11. And now you can tell me that the slope was -4 and the y-intercept was 11. So just make sure, the only thing I have to say is just make sure that y is totally by itself. Questions before I add on? All right, let's do a real life problem that uses slope. Why not? Okay, so I call it a real world problem. Real world problem. Okay, a plumber charges $50 for a service fee plus $75. Ooh, it's a lot. $75 per hour of service. How much will your bill be? I have two questions. A, after 8 hours of work. B, after 12 hours of work. Now, this requires us to write the equation. That's the hard part. When you write a linear equation, I want you to ask, if you always had trouble with this, or if you haven't, but this is maybe a different way to think about it. Ask yourself, what number always changes? Which number is going to get higher or lower when I add time or whatever the problem is asking you for? So in this case, which number is going to change with the hours? Well, that's going to be the $75, right? And 50 is my initial fee. It's always going to be 50, no matter how many hours I use the plumber. So my equation, what changes is your slope. So my equation is going to be y is equal to, now, what changes? Every hour is $75. So 75x, x would be the number of hours we're going to use. And he charges me an extra $50 just to come. So whatever is always going to stay constant is your 50, like the $50 is the y-intercept. And whatever's going to change as time goes on is going to be where your x is. That's your slope. And then all we have to do for A is just plug 8 hours in for x. So y equals 75 times 8 plus 50. And then let's see, 75 times 8. 600 plus 50, I would be 650. If one of you guys have a calculator, I don't have my calculator, but I had it. I don't know where it went. Just check me. I just sort of did it real fast.
Is correct.
B, thank you, thank you. And B, now I just do it for 12 hours. Y equals 75 times, whoops, times 12 plus 50. I'll let you go. One of you guys tell me what the answer is.
900.
Perfect. $900.
It's 950 for the total.
Oh, 900. Okay, gotcha.
Oh yeah, 950. I'm sorry. I
No.
just did-
No, that's all right. I get it. I just, you got it. So it's 900. Yeah, you told me the right thing. I just went and put the answer down. Perfect. All right, any questions on that equation? Plugging in, I know you guys got it, but any question on how to write the equation? Just that every time you see this, anything that changes, anything that will change over time is your slope. That has your X. And anything that's never going to change, any money they give you or anything they give you, that's always going to be this amount. That's your y-intercept.
Can you say that again so I can write it, please?
Say it one more time. Just, sorry, just say, I sort of missed you.
She just said to repeat the last thing that you said so she could write it.
Okay, yes, absolutely. Okay, when you have a word problem, anything that changes over time is going to be your slope. That has your X. Any value that's always going to be that value, no matter what happens as time goes on, is your y-intercept. That's what I want to ask you when you see a word problem. Ask yourself, which one is going to change by the hour or by the month or by the year? That's your slope. Which one's always going to be, I don't know, $100, never going to change. Here's a good one too. Let's say you go to an amusement park.